It's tax season, and you've probably started to notice some of the paperwork coming in, but knowing exactly what you need to file can save you time and frustration. In this bilingual piece, we'll walk you through everything you need to know.
Bien seas un empleado de tiempo completo, alguien que trabaja de manera independiente o eres dueño de tu propio negocio o eres indocumentado y no sabes qué papeles ingresar, aquí te damos los primeros pasos.
So anybody who worked in tax year 22, which is last year that we're doing, received any tax forms, any income, you are welcome to file taxes to claim any eligible credits and also to get any withholdings back.
Requirements can vary, but generally, if you're a full-year resident with an annual Massachusetts gross income of more than $8,000, you are required to file a Massachusetts tax return.
And even if you don't have a filing requirement, you might want to file because you want to get your withholdings back. You might qualify for credits.
To get started, you would need your identification, your Social Security number or ITIN number, all of your tax documents. So if you're working W-2s or 1099s, proof of health insurance because it is a Massachusetts mandate to have insurance. And anything else that would be beneficial for us to know for tax purposes. If you had children, maybe information about childcare, their social security numbers. So we're able to get the child tax credit and other credits. And it's just, anything else that would be advantageous for us to know.
Las personas que no poseen seguro social o son indocumentadas pueden aplicar para un número ITIN, que es un número de identificación personal del contribuyente.
Este es un número que el IRS, no es inmigración, no tiene nada que ver con eso. El IRS es el que le da este número a la persona para poder procesar algo de impuestos.
Para aplicar por un ITIN, debes empezar llenando el formulario W-7 que consigues en la página del IRS. Luego, enviar por correo tu W-7, declaración de impuestos, prueba de identidad y documentos que comprueben que eres extranjero. Luego de obtener un ITIN, podría ser elegible para reclamar un crédito.
El único crédito que yo puedo obtener si yo tengo un ITIN y mi niño tiene un ITIN es un crédito de $500 que me dan por mi dependiente, por mi niño, y ni siquiera es dinero que me devuelven, es dinero que va a pagar el impuesto que yo debo.
All income earned needs to be reported into your taxes. So whether that's wages, you received a W-2, you're working with an employer, you receive wages, you will file that. Maybe you did Uber and Lyft driving, as an example. You get a 1099K form that also gets reported, but it will get reported under another type of form. Maybe you did some side hustle and got cash income that also would be documented as earned income.
If you're self-employed, it's important to keep a record of what you're making and your expenses.
You should keep records of what you're making, but then you don't have to pay tax on all your earnings. You're allowed as a self-employed person to take expenses. So people should keep records of what expenses they have that allows them to do their job.
Cuando te paguen en efectivo, cualquier monto superior a los $400 debe declararse. Y lo más importante es mantener un récord escrito de todos los ingresos y gastos.
Sí, en ese caso tendría la persona que tener una lista detallada de qué fue lo que ganó para poder incluirlo en los impuestos, porque hay que ponerlos, aunque sea solamente efectivo. So si tiene un sistema que la persona tenga o si tiene fotocopias o como sea que ellos puedan identificar lo que se ganaron.
The exact tax forms you receive will depend on what you do for work and how you're being paid. Some of the most commonly seen are W-2s and 1099s.
W-2s are really if you're in an agency, an organization, you're full-time employed, they'll issue at a W-2 and that will just have a summary of all of the earnings at that particular organization for the year. If you're considered self-employed, you might get a form that's called 1099 NEC. And so this is a non-employee compensation form. So you're not an employee with that organization, but you're doing like a consulting or you're self-employed, considered self-employed. So those will be issued out in a 1099 form.
Hay varias razones para declarar, como por ejemplo, si pagaste más impuestos mensuales de los que debías. La manera de que te devuelvan ese dinero es declarando. También es recomendable para participar en varios programas de ayuda financiera.
Hay varios programas, muchos programas. Si tú quieres aplicar para Financial Aid para tu chico, si tú quieres aplicar para ayuda porque las cosas están carísimas, necesito obtener alguna ayuda como SNAP, estampillas de comida o algo del gobierno, me van a pedir esa planilla. Esa planilla es la mejor prueba de cuál es mi situación financiera en este momento.
Let's talk about tax credits. There are state and federal ones available. Some of the most common are the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Tax Credit. You can read up on what the credits are and if you're eligible for them at the IRS website or the Massachusetts Department of Revenue website. One other thing to know, the available tax credits for 2022 are different than in recent years, so you might not be seeing as much money back as you did if you filed last year.
During the pandemic, a lot of the credits amounts were either increased or the eligibility requirements were changed. And so for this year, for tax year 22, all of the eligibility requirements and the guidelines are reverting back to the pre-pandemic years. So for example, the child tax credit was increased last year for children under 6 years of age to $3,600. But this year, in tax year 22, the credit reverted back to $2,000 for any child who's under the age of 17.
Existen varios servicios pagos de preparación de impuestos disponibles en caso de que no te sientas cómodo haciendo los impuestos tú mismo.
There are also free resources available if you meet certain requirements, including making under $60,000 a year, if you speak limited English, or if you live with a disability.
ABCD is part of the IRS VITA Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, where we have IRS certified volunteers prepared and ready to get prepared taxes for free, as long as you fall under $60,000 or less of income and live in the city of Boston, Malden, Medford, or Everett. But there's VITA sites all over Massachusetts. So if you don't live in Boston, for example, you're able to go to the IRS.gov website and search VITA sites, and those are completely free.
Vayan a lugares que hacen esta preparación de impuesto gratis. Nosotros trabajamos con ellos. Ellos se llaman los voluntarios preparadores de impuestos. Están en todo el estado. Esta gente está certificada por el IRS. Son personas que lo hacen porque quieren ayudar.